Hello, everybody. The Big Condo Records podcast. I'm your host, Hayley Jane. And we've got a very special guest with us tonight. We have a Big Condo director with us. We have Chase in the house. Woo, 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 woo. Hello, Chase.
Hey, I love being on the other side of
Yeah, it's
the
a big
chair.
introduction for the big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking forward to this interview because I know you've got such a interesting, fruitful background, and obviously we all get excited when we hear names like Wu-Tang Clan and Alicia Keys. So they're all interesting things. So before we even go there, so those are the things that we've got to look forward to, folks. So let's start off. Chase, you're a director at the Big Condo, you're a music video maker, and you're from New York. Can you fill us in with the background bit? Where did it all start for you? And I know you've your own health-wise, you're autistic, and I want you to kind of talk about how that's affected your kind of creative flow and your creative career.
So where did it start for me in New York? You mean?
In New York, as a child, did you always dream to be a videographer, music video maker? How did all that happen?
We're going way back.
Yeah, we're going way back. Let's go way back.
All right. Well, I mean, like, basically, I think I was like most kids from the 70s where, I was enamored by the television. And I wanted to be inside of it. I wanted to be inside that little box and everything, and I was just plopped in front of the TV, never left. I either had TV in the big chair, I had TV with a bowl of cereal, and I'm just devouring it all.
Yeah, I was a bit of a TV bug when I was little.
Right? I mean, so I watched everything. My mother was a big movie fan. Horror movie fan, unfortunately, still turned me into a scaredy cat as an adult. But so I think my creativity was born very early on, as you just said about my autism, because I'm very honest about that. Is that we didn't know it was autism at the time, and everything. So like I had that kind of like self-mutism and a bit of Asperger's and stuff as a child and everything like that. So I didn't relate well to others, so that was another thing too. But I think what it did was it helped me build up my creativity, if that makes any sense.
I think any person that I know that is autistic are wildly creative, and it hasn't held them back once.
No, definitely it hasn't until somebody tells you it does. And everything, so when you think outside the box, you just got to keep thinking. And you have to let a person go with that. And
when you were younger, did it hold you back? Did it feel like it was holding you back a little bit?
Well, no, because I think what it was making me different. It was making me like, draw my own comic books. It was making me write my own stories. It was making me do things that I could do as an individual, not having to count on others, and I was like creating my own worlds in a way. And in that aspect, I took that to writing short stories. I think I've discovered Stephen King very early on in high school and everything. So I like the twist in the tail, so to speak. So I like to write the stories. And my teacher, my creative writing teacher, would allow me to post them on the back wall in the back of the room. And as a shy kid, I'd just sit in the chair, like right in front of it. As I watch people, walk up to it and read it and everything, and I love listening for the reaction, like, oh, it's gristly, or and stuff like that. And so I started out like that, and until I think I had to try to impress this one particular girl. It's always about a girl in it, and everything. And she was like, write me another story, and so like I would keep doing that. And then I said, all right, I'm going to write you a movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I worked really hard on this movie and everything. And it completed 9 pages.
Woo! Short film.
No, it was a feature, baby. It didn't give me what I wanted to do. But I think I learned something about myself. And that was that I wanted to be a writer.
Perfect, yeah. So you learned from an early age that you wanted to write. So how did that get you into the music videos and working with the artists that you've worked with? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I mean, yeah. So basically, getting through college and all that, once you decide that you want to go the creative route, I don't know, this is like there's not many job opportunities. So it's like I get out of college and, I didn't take law or sciences and everything like that. And so I found this ad about the Black Filmmaker Foundation.
The Black Filmmaker Foundation.
Yeah, which was started up by Spike Lee, Robert Townsend, the Hudlin brothers, who were like famous movie makers who decided to help the community and they were like, hey, I'm pretty sure there's creative people in our community all around, so they set up like a workshop like in NYU. You've heard of NYU and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I started there and put a little CV together. Not like I had any experience, so it's just all my creative experience. But from that, I managed to get asked to write a movie for anti-drug film, and then to produce a TV show with VJs, like in the music industry and stuff. And so, like, the VJ show, we needed a director, so we hired this guy who actually worked in music videos for a famous director named Marcus Nispel and everything. And he did all those horror movies, those recent horror movies like Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I said, hey, dude, I want to come work with you, because I had no airs about myself. Right, so let me work with you, and that's how I really fell into the music video business because, and he was doing casting and everything else like that. So I started out as a casting director.
Wow. So you think that the platform, the Black Filmmakers Foundation, that was a real catalyst for you, kind of?
Yeah, because from there I was trained to like write scripts, and you got to meet other actors, and you working on stuff. I didn't get to work on Do the Right Thing. I was kind of upset about that and everything, but I got to meet people who did, and but when I was doing it for myself, like public access television is what we did, with this VJ show. And but then the guy who I hired to direct that, who took me with him, he's making music videos like CNC Music Factory and, George Michael and all this other kind of stuff. So I'm like, hey, I think I got the best out of the deal.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? And but that's when it was like he wanted to direct because he was an AD, and so he discovered my writing ability because remember I started out as a writer. So that's what I did. So I would write treatments for him.
Treatments, as I was going to say.
Yeah. I write treatments for him, and that's how we got started and everything. So that's when it all took off for me.
So like years ago, people would they'd go down to the record company, they'd hand in their tapes and they'd wait outside. And so you kind of was that person with your treatments going in and like, look what I can do.
Yeah, like an artist would take a demo, I take a script.
Yeah.
So like in that aspect what's great is the difference between LA and New York, because I was like in New York. The difference is LA has gates. Like you see the big gates, Paramount Pictures and all that, with the security guard. New York, it was like a building that you could just walk into, get on the elevator, and go into any record label and stuff like that.
Drop off your demos.
Well, your treatments. So, like, so what artists that you got out, they need a treatment, which is pretty much a concept for their song. That was like the way we did it back then in the 90s. Because there was a lot of narrative videos. If you remember the 90s, there was a lot of storytelling. So a lot of people wanted to be visual directors, but they weren't writers. Do you get me? So I started to make a name for myself because I'd be like, here's a song, and then I'd be like, vampires.
So I was just going to say, what was you doing that was different to make your treatment stand out from the others in the pile?
Because I think different. I
thinking
wrote
outside
different.
the box.
Exactly. It wasn't like I was doing it on purpose. It's like I would hear the song and I hear something completely different than most people would. Because but because I was a writer, I knew how to put it into the form of a beginning, middle, and end. You know, so if it's gonna be vampires, it's gonna be like, yeah, so they need vampire girls going to this place, and then this happens, they meet this guy, you know, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they worked, but in making a name for myself, that's how I managed to get headhunted by the Genius, and that's what led to the Wu-Tang Clan.
So tell us a little bit about that. How did that happen? Told me a little exciting story before, and you.
Well, I mean, you know, it's funny, you know, because like I was shooting a video down in Miami with Luke from the Two Live Crew, you know, one of the booty bouncing videos. It went very poorly and everything, and so we came back to New York with our tail between our legs, and my boss was like, "Hey, you know, there's some guy named Genius looking for you." Now he didn't know who Genius was, but neither did I. Right?
Yeah.
But I had another partner who was like another producer in our gang. He knew. He's like, what? He nearly fell over himself, you know, got the number, pulled me downstairs to a payphone, and we actually called Genius on the phone. I mean, can you imagine the times?
Genius of the Wu-Tang.
Yeah, imagine the times where you could do that and everything like that. Yeah. But basically it was that reputation. It was like that thing of like, yeah, man, you know, there's a guy running around writing these weird treatments and stuff like that. Yeah, but that was cool and all that. And we were doing like a video here and there. But to work for Genius, you know, that threw us up into upper like number spot. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so your budget went up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, like, but we're talking about videos. We're talking about videos that cost anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 for just a weekend's work, right?
Yeah.
Wu-Tang, it's going up. But
wow.
So it wasn't to do Wu-Tang videos at first. It was the fact that people wanted Genius of the Wu-Tang to do their videos. You see what I mean? Yeah. So they wanted to like kind of like pay for the fame and stuff, you know. So if he's just on set, that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
You know, but then he needed somebody to actually pull it all together, and that's where I came in and stuff. So it was luck. It was a luck of the draw.
Yeah.
And you know,
but you were putting out there to the universe the kind of things that you wanted to do, and it just I would imagine it would just aligned. You were networking in that environment, and
yeah,
you kind of yeah.
You got lucky. And yeah, it's like what I call like the sidekick factor. You know, like I didn't have any airs about myself. You know, I had confidence, but like, you know, I was willing to be a part of a team. So in that aspect, it worked fine for that. So I was willing to work with him for us all to achieve, you know. So, and you know, all
but you
those
never
videos,
was the one leading.
Yeah, and all those videos are like online now and stuff like that. And I'm really happy about it because, you know, we're talking about 60,000, million, sometimes views. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah. You know, and all of this was before I came here to England. So that was like a whole nother universe in a way.
Yes. Yeah, I liked the word that you used before, the booty bouncing videos. I wanted to ask you about that, like, where music videos have gone now these days. I know you was talking about the story concept of the song.
Well, I wish
now it's all just like booty bouncing and very
the booty
sexual.
bounce is not back. No. We're in a different realm now.
See a lot of it going on there with the Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. They're all kind of scantily clad. What do you think about that kind of music video? I don't like them.
I mean, you're right, but see that because as women, that's female empowerment. You know, I mean, when you're doing the male gaze videos,
they're definitely from the male gaze videos, aren't they? Yeah.
It was a different time period.
The booty bouncing ones years ago in the 90s, I didn't mind them. There was still a bit of a story behind them, whereas now there's kind of.
Well, there had to be a story, or you were making like, you know. So I think that's another reason why you needed somebody that there's a concept behind this, guys. There's a reason why girls in the pool. There's a reason. And everything, you know. It can't just be like shake the bottle of champagne and stuff. Because people were making those videos, but it wasn't the same. As you were trying to say, is like the narrative video, they're not making those much anymore. I wish they'd come back. you know, and everything. Wish they come back. And I try. I mean, because I had to give up. I had to give up for a while. But when I came here,
I was going to say, what brought you to England?
well, I mean, basically,
Why leave such an amazing, inspirational
everybody
scene
says
in
that.
New York? Yeah.
Everybody says that. Why'd you leave? I don't know. I don't have a clue why I left. To be honest with you, you know, because it just felt like a time for a change, but I didn't think that the change would be really significant. You know, I had met my partner on the internet. I figured that like I could come here and do the same thing I
Just
was
literally
doing
carry on
there,
from where you picked off, yeah.
and I didn't realize that the record label system wasn't the same. You know, I mean, everything was down London way and everything. Here in Liverpool, you know, I was going knocking on doors with my show reel with the Wu Tang, as you say, and that's all everybody just get. That's the guy with the Wu Tang. That's the guy with the Wu Tang. And it's like, dude, you know, remember I said I like to be a team player.
Yeah, there's more to me
Nobody
than,
cared about playing the team. I felt like that kid picked last on the basketball court, you know, and it was horrible. But so like in that fashion is that I had to go down to London, did some stuff down there and everything, but I missed Liverpool because Liverpool is an infectious
yeah,
city.
yeah.
You
I lived
know?
here the first time for 7 years. Went down that there Big
Did you?
Apple, yeah, for about 10 years, and then I've come back. I was either going to
Exactly.
Hull or back to Liverpool, and I just no thought about it. Just came straight back to
Liverpool,
Liverpool.
you can't beat Liverpool. It's
Outside
such,
of London.
I mean, it's just such a friendly place. You walk down the street, you're always going to run into somebody. It's such a small village in that way, and I appreciated that a lot. You know, it's a lot like Mount Vernon or you know the Bronx where I'm from, and everything else like that. But anyway, coming here, I had to you know do videos. So I was working with an artist, and I was doing a lot of videos with him, and they were actually getting big. The videos would even get to like MTV, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But I had to learn how to work with nothing. Do you know what I mean? Here
Yeah.
I'm doing $50,000 videos, and now you like putting pennies on the table. Pennies? You want me to, you know? And it really tested
Yeah.
my Aspergic mind because it's like here I got to still create a narrative with pennies. You know, hiring your friends, not even hiring your friends, begging your friends to do stuff, and so then you know separating from that, you know, moving on to the next guy. Remember, I'm the sidekick. Move on to the next guy until I meet, you know, my guy here, Royzy, and you know, we were like milk and cheese. You know, we were like audio and video. You know, I mean, he didn't have any kind of airs about himself like other people usually do. You know what I mean? I mean, he kind of talks a lot, but he didn't have any airs about himself. You know, and what I really liked was is that we melded, and so in doing videos together with him and the artist that he was working with was a joy to do because it was kind of like, all right, yeah, you know, I could do this in my sleep, you know, whatever, and stuff like that. And funny story is that, you know, and Roy better not talk off camera, but the funny story is we just did a video, right, for one of his artists, Kira Marsland, Annie, right? And I wanted to do this video once I found out that it was a country western song. I'm like, get the hell out of here. Country western in Liverpool? There you go. Right? Chase is back. A country western. We're going to do this. So then I'm like telling the
You got your
girl,
$3,000 budget head on, didn't you? Yeah.
well,
$300,000 budget head on.
I'm
Yeah.
telling the girl this is gonna be great, and then she's like, "Yeah, this is gonna be great." And then Roy's like, "What?" Because
You want how many cowboy hats?
yeah, his word is simple. I'm like, it is simple, boy. It is simple. It's like that you kind of buy cowboy hats and then guns and all this other kind of stuff. We tried. We turned the what is it? The shipping forecast into a saloon, and but. I said, Roy, I know where we could get some horses. No! Roy, it's a Western. Trust me, we could rent them by the hour.
So you feel like since you come to the big condo, you've kind of had a bit more creative freedom than you did as the
I had no
sidekick.
choice but to have creative freedom. But, you know, it would be nice to, you know, get paid to, you know, put the money on the screen, you know. But what's great is when you have the creativity, you have the artist and that kind of synergy, it still comes through money or no money. I mean, you might ask yourself, why do those videos cost so much? Right? They do because it's marketing money. They do because the record labels have it. They do because they're going to get it back. But then when you don't have it, can you still make the same thing? And the answer is yes, you can. But we all got to work together, you know, like to do it. But you can still pull it off.
Yeah.
And I think that video actually came out really well, actually.
And if we had more time, I want to ask you a million questions. I want to ask you how your autism has affected you or if it's affected your career. But unfortunately, we're going to have to invite you back another time. We've come to the end of our podcast show this time.
You told me I could talk for England.
Yeah, honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure. And the Big Condo would not be the same without you, Chase. It's been a pleasure to meet you. That's Chase, one of the directors of the Big Condo. I'm Hayley Jane, your host, and this has been the Big Condo Records podcast. We'll see you again real soon.
Peace.